Now, when dealing with a trigonometry 2D problems, you need to know the trig ratios. Trig ratio, I'm talking about the sine, the cos, and the tan. We need to know that. And we know that sine is opposite divided by hypotenuse. And the cos is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. Adjacent divided by hypotenuse. Next we have the tan. The tan is the opposite divided by adjacent. Now let's say now we have a triangle like this. And we have an angle of theta here. This is the right angle triangle. Now the sine of theta, cos theta, and the tan theta. Now to label this right angle triangle, the longest side is going to be the hypotenuse. Next is the side that is opposite to this angle here. This side is going to be the opposite side. Next is this side, the last one is going to be the adjacent. Next, let's look at angle of elevation. When you are talking about angle of elevation, you are talking about the angle that is formed when you look at something from a horizontal line. Now, let's say you have a person and that person is looking at the grid from a horizontal ground. Now, the angle of elevation which is formed when you're looking at something from horizontal line, that angle is going to be formed here. This is the angle of elevation. It is formed when you are looking at something from horizontal plane. And here, as you can see, this person is looking at this bed from a horizontal line. And this horizontal line is the ground. That is why this angle is going to be the angle of elevation. Next, let's look at angle of depression. Now, the angle of depression is the angle that is formed when you look down at something from a horizontal line. Let's say you have something like this. Let's say you have a boy and that boy is looking down at a ball. Now, the angle of depression is going to be the angle that is formed when this boy is looking down at this ball from a horizontal line. And that horizontal line here is going to be this line. I'm going to draw a horizontal line here. And that angle is going to be this one. It's going to be the angle of depression. It's formed when this boy is looking down at this ball from this horizontal line. And when you complete this, is going to be this right angle triangle. Now let's look at this key concept. We have a term and a meaning. And when we talk about the angle of elevation, it's when we are looking up at something. Angle of depression, looking down at something. When you're talking about the height, you're talking about the vertical side of triangle. And the triangle we're talking about is the right angle triangle. And with distance, we are talking about horizontal line. The horizontal line of the right angle triangle. Now let's check at this example. Example says a building is 10 meters high. The angle of elevation to the top is 30 degrees. Find out how far the person is from the building. To solve for this, we're going to draw a diagram. And that diagram will have something like this. This is the building. And we have a person. This is going to be the ground. And we have a person here. The person is here. And this person is looking here at the top of this building. And again, we're given that the angle of elevation to the top is 30 degrees. We know that the angle of elevation is the angle that is formed when you're looking up at something from a horizontal line. And that angle is going to be here, which is 30 degrees. 80 degrees. Again, we're given that the building is 10 meters high. The distance from here to here. It is 10 meters. That is the distance. Now the question says find out how far the person is from the building. That person is here. They want the distance from here up until here. Not here, from here to here. The distance. Now let's label this as x. Now to find the distance here, we're going to use a trig ratio. That trig ratio must have, let's say here, the longest side is going to be the hypotenuse. And the side that is opposite to this angle that we are dealing with, this side is going to be the opposite. And the last one is going to be the adjacent. Now we need to use a trig ratio that has opposite and adjacent. And that trig ratio, it is tan. The tan of this angle, 80 degrees. And tan, you know that it is opposite divided by adjacent. And here the opposite is this side, from here to here, here to here. It's the same thing, 10 meters, the distance from here to here. And I say 10 divided by the adjacent is this side, from here to here. We label it as x. Then I'm going to have x here, the tan of 80 degrees. Next, I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to say tan 80 multiplied by x. And I say tan 80 multiplied by this x is equal to 10 multiplied by. Now if you take tan 80, we divide it by 1, the answer will still be tan 80. Now we're going to cross multiply by this one. We're going to have 10. Here we're going to have tan 80 x. We're going to divide both sides by tan 80. Tan 80 here. This will cancel this, then the value for x, which is the distance, gonna be 17,32 meters. That is the distance from here to here, is 17,32 meters.